Week is over, and thank God. I hate the bye week. I wish we didn't have a bye week. I know that the players love the bye week, the coaches love the bye week. I hate the bye week. I don't like having nothing to do on Sunday. Sure, I watched the Bears and the Vikings. I watched the Chiefs and the Broncos. I watched IU play against Incarnate Word. Sure, there was stuff to do and sports to watch, but none of it involved the Colts, and I don't like it. Now the Colts, they ramp up for the last 7 weeks of the season, and they got to win 4 of those games. You win 4 of those games, and if they're the right 4, you win the AFC South without a thought about those other 3. So you go 4-3 on the way home, you're 12-5, and you go to the playoffs as the representative from the AFC South. All right, Indiana football still ranked second in the country after their win against Wisconsin. And people are saying that Indiana struggled. Struggled? No, A&M struggled against South Carolina. That was a team on the struggle bus in the first half, down 30-3 at halftime. No, they didn't hold on. A&M came back, won 31-30. Because Sellers for South Carolina, my God, anybody who thought at any point that this guy was capable of winning a Heisman Trophy, completely insane. Anyway, we'll find out what the college football playoff ranking is, and Indiana should continue to be the number 2 team in the country with 1 game left. They're entering their final bye week. No game this weekend, and then they got the bucket game the following Friday night, Black Friday, at Ross-Ade Stadium. It ain't going to be Black Friday at Ross-Ade. It's going to be Red Friday at Ross-Ade Stadium. Indiana beat Incarnate Word last night. This one, they're not going to put the video of this one in a time capsule. This was kind of hard to watch. Basketball, when you're a good shooting team, and Indiana's a good shooting team, and you don't shoot the ball well, it's really hard to watch. Last night was really hard to watch. First half, really good. Only allowed Incarnate Word 19 points. Second half, not so much. And this is Breakfast with Kent for Monday, November 17th, 2025. Brought to you by the great people at YouTube TV. YouTube TV, they have come to an agreement with the evil horde from Disney, and prices not going up, and YouTube TV back with those Disney stations, ABC, ESPN, the ESPN family of networks, FX, Disney, all of that crap. I've never watched Disney, not once in my life. Toby says, prayers, Charles Hill, strength. What happened to Charles? I didn't see. Oh, your cousin passed away. We're very sorry about that. So I'm sorry, Charles. Good heavens. That's terrible news. All right. So YouTube TV, you can get YouTube TV, $15 off your first month by clicking the link that will be in the show description as soon as this video ends. Also, you want to become a member, because when you become a member, membership has its privileges. We had a great talk, great chat about sports on Saturday morning, members only. It's awesome. Every single Saturday we do it, and we just talk until we're done talking. It's not like 15, 20, 40 minutes, whatever it is. It winds up being really, really fun, and we have a great time. So members only, whether you're an all-meal deal or a Breakfast Buddy member, all-meal deals for a short time still can get a copy of my book, autographed. I'll send it to you myself. Saturday was a great chat. We had an excellent time. Become a subscriber, and you have an opportunity to win. You are eligible to win one of the 5 autographed Colts jerseys I've got, all autographed by different players, some former, some current, and you've got to be a subscriber to be eligible. You've got to use the phrase that pays in order to enter. That phrase that pays this morning is back to go Indiana. Indiana, nary a loss over the weekend. However, we did get a loss by the Pacers. We'll talk about that a little bit too. So use that as your entry, and we will deploy the fabulous prize wheel this afternoon and select a winner of one of the 5 remaining Colts jerseys that we have for the purpose of giving away. Smash that like button. Do that right now. And You know what? If you want to make a donation, make a donation. No big whoop. But please include a comment or a question that elevates the level of discourse on the channel. All right, let's talk about sports. Let's talk. Pacers did something to piss off the basketball gods. Well, yeah. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton tearing his Achilles wasn't enough to sate the basketball gods. 1-12. Good heavens, right? Let's talk about the Colts. The long nightmare of a bye week is over. You watched the Chiefs get beat by the Broncos yesterday. I don't like that because that's going to anger them. They're 5-5 right now, and really on the very periphery of having a chance in the AFC West. They got to win this week, or it's all over, right? Not necessarily the playoff chances, getting a wild card, but for the AFC West, you lose this one, it's all but over. Hoping Mooney Ward is back and that Ward and Gardner can get on the field at the same time as bookend lockdown corners. That would be awesome. You'll see if that happens, an uptick in turnovers and in third down defense. That should be apparent immediately. Bye week does not count toward DeForest Buckner's IR stint. That's important to know. So he's still, I think, 1 week in. The offense should be relatively sharp. Everyone was healthy-ish prior to the bye. Rickus says, yeah, I was hoping they won yesterday, so they weren't playing him coming off a loss. I was too. I was hoping that the Broncos would miss that field goal late. Bye came at a good time for Daniel Jones because the previous 2 games, he wasn't sharp like he was those first 8 games. First 8 games, he was really good. Last 2 games, not so good. You put pressure on him, he gets a little scattered in his thinking, just like all quarterbacks. And that's not a criticism of Daniel Jones. There aren't many quarterbacks where when you send 7 guys and you got people all around your feet, you're going to be able to deliver the ball on time, on target. It's very rare you run into a guy like that. In fact, it's never you run into a guy like that. But, man, got to have better than you saw from Daniel Jones either against the Steelers or against the Falcons. You got to keep him upright and keep him sharp. He's got to step up. He's got to get rid of the football quickly because teams are coming. They saw what Pittsburgh did. The Falcons did the same thing, and now you can bet a similar defensive scheme from Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs. Chiefs have allowed opponents to score 29 or more just once, and that was on the road. This is at Arrowhead. The most allowed at Arrowhead, 20. The fewest scored by the Colts this year, 20 twice. This is where the rubber meets the road, man. Either that defense is going to give or the Colts offense is going to give, one or the other. If it's the Chiefs defense that gives, Colts going to win this game. Colts offense gives, they turn it over, pre-snap penalties, all of that crap, putting yourself behind the sticks. Colts going to have a very tough time in this game. Mahomes versus Jones. Mahomes yesterday, 29 of 45 for 276, 1-1. 6.1 yards per against. That's not good enough for Mahomes. He does that again, Colts going to win that game. Kareem Hunt, 13 of 59 or 459 and 1 versus Taylor. Taylor, huge advantage for the Colts over Kareem Hunt. Mahomes, significant advantage over Jones for the Colts. Colts 2 games up on the Jags because the Jags won yesterday. 3 up on the Texans, who were 5-5. You beat the Jags and the Texans twice, and it's over. You're going to win the AFC South. That gets you to 12, and the others aren't getting to 12. All right? But you got to beat those 2 teams twice. That would make this game against the Chiefs kind of window dressing, give them an opportunity to get to 9-2. I think this is a tough game. This is going to reveal some things about the Colts. But if you sweep the Jags and sweep the Texans, you're going to win the AFC South. That's regardless of what happens this weekend. Not that this weekend's game isn't important. You go 9-2, and those 2 teams, whatever they do, win or loss, you're still a game better than you would have been otherwise. So let's talk about Indiana football. Indiana football still number 2 after their 15th straight home win. They lead all of college football in consecutive home wins. That's crazy to even consider. Curt Cignetti has not lost at home ever as an Indiana head coach. Has not lost a single game. Mendoza with a very Mendoza-like game this past weekend. Man, was he good or was he good or what? He was 22 of 24 for 299, 4 and 0. That's a 73% completion percentage. That's 30 total TDs this season, which breaks the Curtis Rourke record of 29. He's only thrown 5 picks. He's got 9.5 yards per attempt, and his passer rating is 184.8. If that's not Heisman Mendoza, I don't know what a Heisman Trophy winner looks like. They looked really good this weekend against Wisconsin, and that's a serious defense. That's a real defense that Indiana played against. Such a balanced offense. It's unlikely, how about this, that IU will, or it's likely that they will neither have a 1,000-yard rusher or a 1,000-yard receiver. Mendoza on pace for over 3,000 yards this season, but his 2,641 yards is over 900 short of Nate Sudfeld's 3,572 or 73 under Kevin Wilson. Getting there depends on playing at least 4 more games. You got to play 4 more games, right? 4 more games would be a good thing. You got Purdue. You got the Big Ten championship. That'd be great. Then you've got 2 games in order to get to the semifinals of the college football playoff. Toby asked the question, have you heard any rumors or conversation that Daniel Jones wants Brian Daboll on the Colts coaching staff? No, that has not come up. That would be an odd thing to want. Like, no. And that won't happen. Colts very pleased with their offensive coaching staff, and I don't think Jim Bob Cooter is up for any head coaching gigs, so I think that'll continue. How about IU basketball last night? 69-61, they beat Incarnate Word. The team's still coming together. This was this group's first trip on the struggle bus. They were 5 of 24 from beyond the arc after going 14 of 28 the previous 2 games. 18 of 26 from free throws from the line. Last year or the previous year, you would have felt pretty good about that. You would have said, hey, Mike Woodson's had him in the gym working. Not this group. 18 of 26 sucks for this group. They were up 35-19 at the half. They limped home to win by 8. Alexis with 16, DeVries with 14, who just kept shooting, and credit to him. Keep shooting it, man. You missed your first 8. Don't worry about it. You're going to make them. They're coming. And they did for DeVries. Sicily with 10. Lindenwood next, 6 o'clock on Thursday. Love those 6 o'clock games. Pacers at Pistons tonight. Pistons are 11-2. They lead the Eastern Conference. The Pacers are 1-12. They do not lead the Eastern Conference unless you flip the standings upside down. Neesmith, not close to playing. Benedict Mathurin, getting closer. And that's a good thing. Mendoza needs to stop taking sacks for his own health and field position. You know what? It seems like DeVries would rather take a sack than an incompletion. I think he was sacked 5 times, and he had 2 incompletions, so the statistics bear that out. Crumple once in a while. See it coming and crumple. Don't worry about it. Or get rid of it. Get rid of it quickly. Don't wait to get hit is the point. All right? Don't take that punishment. You can crumple, you can throw it away. Either works. I prefer throwing it away. Lavar Keys committed to IU over the weekend. He's 5'10". He is a slot receiver. He is dynamic as hell. He comes from DeMatha High School. He was a commitment to Penn State. He pulled his commitment after James Franklin was fired. He's coming to IU really fast. His high school coach says, hey, know what he does? He runs really fast. He catches the ball, and then he runs real fast again. That's a good combination. That's a good tool set for a wide receiver. Let's celebrate some birthdays on this Monday, shall we? Absolutely. Karen Eckstein celebrating a birthday. Randy Willis, Keith Johnson, Tony Speziale, celebrating a birthday. John Nichols, Kelly Mervar Jenkins, happy birthday. Josh Malkak, Paul Lee, the great Paul Lee, who is an assistant coach of the highest order with the Cathedral Fighting Irish, and Butch Waugh, very, very good friend of Dave the King Wilson, celebrating a birthday. If today's your birthday, you celebrate like hell. If it's not your birthday, you celebrate somebody else. That's best done with an honest and specific compliment. Lift each other up. Don't pull each other down. Be good to each other. We can save all our problems one at a time. Let's go. Ryan says, line needs to block much better. They do. John says, good morning, Kent. Go Indiana. Do we at least land the number one pick or lead the number one pick race, glass half full? We do, but it's a long way to go. We got about 60, well, we do have 69 games left, including tonight's game. That's a lot of basketball to have to watch in order to get that one pick. And they're not going to be altogether that bad. They're not going to get back to where they can go to the playoffs, but they're going to be, once Mathurin and Neesmith and Nembhard's 100%, and Nembhard's playing at least, right? That's a 500 team. And so where you're going to wind up 10, 12 under 500 if everybody stays healthy from here on out. And that's not good enough, nor is it bad enough, and that sucks. Cam Boozer would look amazing in a Pacers jersey. Indeed he would.